Geico asks, how would you love a chance to save more money on your insurance? Of course you would. After all, who doesn't love a great deal, right? And when it comes to great rates on insurance for all things in your life, Geico can help. Like with insurance for your car, truck, motorcycle, boat, and RV. Even help with homeowners, condo, or renters coverage. You could save even more with a special discount when you bundle your coverages. Plus, add the easy-to-use Geico mobile app, available 24-hour roadside assistance and more, and choosing to switch to Geico becomes an easy choice. So switch today and see all the ways you could save with great rates and discounts. It's easy. Simply go to geico.com to get a rate quote or contact your local agent and get started seeing how much you could save.
The recognized symbol of excellence in sports entertainment.
Well, he won a gold medal with a broken freaking neck. He's a real athlete, so give him your respect. He's got intensity, integrity, intelligence too. Oh, it's true, it's damn true. So if he ever finds you and you're chanting you suck, then he'll douse you in dairy with his big milk truck. And with one angle slam, he'll lay you out on the floor. So listen up, it's time to go. It's the Kurt Angle Show.
Hey, this is Kurt Angle, and welcome to the Kurt Angle Show. On the show today, we'll be discussing when I lost my hair against Edge at Judgment Day 2002. But first, let me introduce to you my co-host, Paul Bromwell. How you doing today, Paul?
Kurt, I'm doing well. And when you lost your hair in your match with Edge, I lost out on my hair in a match versus genetics. But we're going to have some fun today talking about Edge. We're going to talk about the build-up to you having that sexy look that ultimately would score you your beautiful bride, my friend.
As a whistle.
She's into it. She likes it, and that's all that matters.
That's right. That's all that matters. My wife loves it.
So listen, we're coming off an all-time classic from Backlash that we talked about last month, and it only makes sense for the feud to continue on. But I don't think the fans had any idea a hair match was coming. When is the idea pitched to you regarding having your head shaved, Kurt?
Well, the idea came the day after Backlash. Vince pulled me in his office, and he said, listen, we're going to have another match with Edge at the next pay-per-view. And I want Edge to go over. I'm starting to push him really good. I want to make him a huge star. But what we're going to do is we're going to have a hair versus hair match. And Edge is going to shave your head. You're going bald anyway. You're receding, so I'm doing you a favor. That's what he said to me. And so he said, but don't tell Edge. Don't tell him because I have something planned for him. And I didn't understand what he meant, but he said, please don't say a word to anybody. So the day of the pay-per-view, he did tell Edge during the week that we had a match. He didn't say what kind of match it was. So Edge just knew that we had a match at the next pay-per-view. And we get to the pay-per-view, and Vince sits us both down. And he says, listen, we're going to have a hair versus hair match tonight. And Angle, you're going over. You're going to shave Edge's head. And Edge was like, holy shit. He couldn't believe it. You know, after the meeting, he came to me and said, hey, Kurt, I'm a little nervous about getting my head shaved because my head isn't shaped right. He said, it's not going to look good bald. And the thing is, Vince kept this from him. He pulled the prank on him up until right before we went out to compete, to perform. Great. And at the last second, he said, Edge, I'm just kidding. You're going to shave Kurt's head. Change the finish now. We literally had like 2 minutes to change the finish. And we went out there. So Vince pulled a rib on Edge. It was awesome. It was one of the funniest things I've ever seen.
Well, buddy, we're gonna play the whole storyline, the whole build, all the way till we get there. And there's at one point where they do some editing on one of the SmackDowns, and they show what you would look like bald and what Edge would look like bald. And you are right, Edge would not look right bald, my friend.
He was right.
He was. So we're gonna get there, but we're gonna start on the SmackDown after Backlash. We're in Peoria, Illinois. You're gonna unveil a new T-shirt. And you're all hyped about it, all hyper. You're saying it's the greatest T-shirt ever in the history of T-shirts. It lists all your accomplishments on the back. But Edge had some other ideas, Kurt. So let's take a look back at this clip and see what happened. This is SmackDown. It's April 25th, 2002. Let's check it out.
I wanted to say congratulations, and I couldn't be happier for you. You got a brand new T-shirt, and I mean, let's see it. I want to see the T-shirt. You're serious? After the match you and I had, I am dead serious.
Was a good match. You know some, Edge? I knew you'd come around. I knew you would.
Oh, that's nice. See?
So you people want to see my brand new T-shirt?
Yeah, Kurt busted
Well, why not? We've been hearing about it.
Photographers, gather around. Let's go. I want to get a good shot of this. People, I want you to see the brand new look of Kurt Angle. So without any further ado, here now is the brand new Kurt Angle T-shirt.
I'm getting goosebumps.
Drum roll, please.
There we go. Oh, man. It's gonna be cool, man. What?
Is that not me or what?
Yeah, that's you, Kurt.
Kurt, look at you.
Is that not fit me or what?
Yeah, that's you, all right.
Kurt, look at the shirt.
Hey, listen, if you people have any fat kids, it makes a great gift idea. Kurt,
I think Kurt has been duped.
And you know who did
this is not my T-shirt. Stop taking pictures. Get out of here. Get out of here. Stop it. Get your camera down. Who the hell did this?
Kurt, that shirt definitely is you. Hey, can we please play the music that inspired this fashion masterpiece? Thank you very much.
Someone's gonna put a stop to Edge.
And you stuck it to Kurt Angle again.
He's a wise guy. Look.
But folks, Kurt Angle's going to be able to get his hands on Edge later tonight. But Angle teams with Albert to take on Edge and Rikishi. Oh, that was hysterical. Well, folks, it was The Undertaker, as we told you, called Triple H the Undisputed.
Kurt, what do you think, man? That was some fun stuff.
You know what we left out was we had a different T-shirt to begin with, and it said, "You're Olympic hero. It's true. It's true. I've got gold. How about you?" And Ed switched them when I wasn't looking, and that's what happened. I thought it was a pretty cool segment.
It really was, and we're going to see that T-shirt, the one that you just referenced, in some of these other segments. But man, though, you sold it perfectly. You didn't even turn back. You're just building it up. Oh, well, isn't this great? And even for you fat kids, it was fantastic. And then the birth of the "You Suck" during your music. You have Edge to thank for that too.
Yes, I do. Thank you, Edge.
Yeah, fantastic. So later in the show, it's you, the same show. It's you and Albert defeating Edge and Rikishi. Tell us a little bit about working with Prince Albert. Well, what was he like in and out of the ring?
Prince Albert, he was a great athlete. I mean, he played in the NFL for 2 years, I think for the Patriots, I believe. He was from the University of Pittsburgh, was an All-American football player there. So he was an incredible athlete. For 360 pounds, what made him amazing was he was so light on his feet. I could angle slam him or German suplex him. He would get up for me so high, it felt like he was only 100 pounds. The guy was a phenomenal athlete. A lot of fun to work with.
Nah, that's great. From Pittsburgh too, so there's an added bonus, which is nice.
Yes, he went to college in Pittsburgh.
A safe guy too. Listen, he's down instructing, has been a part of the whole NXT for
He's
so
a great
long.
addition to that company. He really is.
Speaking about safe, just like Albert, NHTSA is all about safety. No one close to you should have to endure the dreaded knock on the door. The knock that comes from a police officer who must tell you that a loved one, that you were killed in a car crash. It's a message that gets even worse when they learn that your death may not have been prevented if you'd only been wearing your seatbelt. The simple fact is, regardless of what type of vehicle you ride in, seatbelt use is the single most effective way to stay alive in a crash. That's why the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration is spreading the word. We want to raise the profile of seatbelt safety so we can save lives. So whether you're going on a cross-country trip or just up for the street, please buckle up. Don't risk it. And remember, click it or ticket, brought to you by NHTSA. So, Kurt, speaking of Pittsburgh, the following week, we're in your hometown of Pittsburgh. This time, you're teaming with Lance Storm against Edge, who, by the way, is now teaming with Val Venus, and you win again. Earlier in the night, though, is also when the hair versus hair match stipulation comes down. It's announced. You told us a little bit before. You were just talking about it as far as the whole Vince ribbing him, making him think he's getting his hair cut. And you got to imagine that Ed, like you said, he had to be scared to death about this, about getting his head shaved. I mean, what was he saying to you backstage?
Like I said before, he thought he was losing, so he's losing his hair. And he was like, I'm not going to look right with it.
There goes his social life, dating life.
You know what? He was up in the rafters of the arena with a boo-boo face all day. He didn't want to talk to anybody. He was trying to convince himself that everything would be okay if his head was shaved bald. That's what he was trying to do. It was just really funny. It was the funniest prank I ever pulled on anyone.
Well, let's get to it. Here it is. The announcement, hair versus hair, May 2nd, 2002. When it all goes down. Let's check it out.
It'd be much better to humiliate you. So what do you say we have ourselves a match at Judgment Day? And this time, what do we say we put something on the line, like maybe that pretty little head of yours?
Put his head on the line?
How about it gets shaved bald if I beat you?
Bald head Edge.
Huh? What do you say, Edge? Not such a Johnny good time now, are we? Huh? What do you say?
You know what, Kurt? I'll do it. Whoa! But you put your money where your mouth is. If I beat you, you shave your head bald. Bobblehead Kurt.
Hold on a second. First of all, these people would die if their Olympic hero's head was shaved. They don't want to see that. There's no way.
I don't want to see it either. Horrific.
To paraphrase another famous WWF superstar, if y'all want to see Kurt Angle get his head shaved clean, give him a "you suck."
It's unanimous. Can't believe this.
I'll tell you what. If it means not giving these people what they want and humiliating you like I'm going to, I say Judgment Day, Edge, you're on.
And after Judgment Day, I say Kurt Angle will be red, white, and bald.
Oh my! Andy up for Judgment Day in 2.5 weeks.
As we watch that, you can kind of see a little bit of fear and trepidation in Edge's eyes. It's not all confidence.
Well, you know what? I'm sorry. I was completely off. We did discuss hair versus hair match during the week on a show.
Yeah.
And I said Edge didn't know till the day of the pay-per-view. But what he didn't know the day of the pay-per-view was the real finish.
No, I got you.
Yeah, so
No, I figured, and I figured that as we were going here, that it was just the really thing that was concealed for him was who was going to get their head shaved.
Right.
But you're absolutely right. But looking at him, even just talking about that, you could see it wasn't confident Edge.
because you know what? He didn't know if it was him or me.
He didn't know. He had no idea
Had
what
no
he was
finish
doing.
set up yet.
I love
And
it.
the only person he told was me.
So good. Kurt, I want to pause right here and share with our listeners about something that will ensure their online safety. It's something we don't talk about enough, and it's Ipvanish. It is the gold medal standard for giving you the ultimate safe experience. Did you know that browsing online using incognito mode doesn't actually protect your privacy? That's right. Without added security, you might as well give away all your private data to hackers, advertisers, your ISP, and other prying eyes. That's why I use Ipvanish VPN to make it easy to stay truly private and secure on the internet. Ipvanish helps you safely browse the internet by encrypting 100% of your data. That's right, 100%. This means that your private details, your passwords, communication, browsing history, guys, and more will be completely shielded from falling into the wrong hands. Even your physical location will be hidden. Ipvanish makes you virtually invisible online. It's that simple. You can use Ipvanish on unlimited devices without sacrificing on speed. Your computer, tablet, phone, whatever, even your TV streaming devices. How cool is that? Whether I'm at home or in public, I don't go online anymore without using Ipvanish. Ipvanish is offering an incredible 70% off their yearly plan for our listeners with a 30-day money-back guarantee. That's like getting 9 months for free. Ipvanish is super easy to use. All you have to do is tap one button and you're instantly protected. You won't even know it's on. So stop sharing with the world everything you stream, everything you search for, and everything you buy. Take your privacy back today with the brand rated 4.6 out of 5 on Trustpilot. So go to ipvanish.com, and here's the key, /angle, and use promotional code ANGLE and claim your 70% off savings. That's ipvanish.com /angle. Kurt, I did want to mention here that a few days before all of this, we need to talk about the passing of Lou Thesz on April 28th at the age of 86. Can you tell us a little bit, Kurt, about your relationship with Lou? And I know he was a big fan of your work. What are some of the memories that you have of him?
Well, when I first met Lou, he walked up to me, and in an interview, this is what he said when he met me. He said, when we walked up, our eyes finally met, and he said, finally, the shooter from the past meets the shooter from the present. And Lou came to me and said, listen, there aren't many of us left. Shooters was what he meant. He said, I need you to keep us alive. You need to represent us well and keep going, kicking ass. There aren't a lot of shooters left, and you have to continue on the legacy. And I thought that was really cool. And he passed away, but I kept in touch with his wife, Charlie. She texts me probably twice a month. We talk to each other every once in a while. I had a lot of respect for Lou and what he's done for the business and what kind of wrestler he was. He was a real shooter. Yeah. He knew his stuff. He was the real deal. So it was an honor to meet him and to represent him to this day.
And you got to think too, Lou would be not only just proud of what you accomplished, Kurt, but how you've also paid it forward for those that are coming behind you now, whether it's Chad Gable and some of the Gable Steveson, some of the other guys.
Shooters. Yes,
that's right.
Yes.
So man, that's awesome. What a legacy, Lou Thesz. Hey, did you go to geico.com yet? So Kurt, there's a lot of talk in the Observer at this time of you planning to train for the 2004 Summer Olympics in Athens. And this is what they had to say in the Observer. Speaking of Angle, regarding the Olympics, the WWF has given him their blessing to take time off, and they'll sponsor him and pay him his downside, I believe, if he wants to try for 2004. Angle said that after his impromptu challenge a couple of months back in the dressing room when he beat Lesnar, that even though he wasn't nearly the wrestler he once was, it fanned the competitive flames. His feeling was that after 5.5 years away from competition, he was still able to beat a national champion who outweighed him. Lesnar weighed 305 pounds at the time, and Angle was 235.
220, but who's counting?
You are. When they did their match a couple of months ago in Fargo, North Dakota. Earlier, both guys had some fun wrestling Big Show. Angle noted that if Show knew what he was doing, he was so strong he'd beat everyone, but since he doesn't know, they made him look bad, and Lesnar was able to physically manhandle him. Of course, he also had to realize that Lesnar also was a year away from competition shape. Angle will make his decision at the end of the year, giving him more than a year to train for it, and said he's 50-50 on it right now. His decision will be based on how he physically feels as far as injuries at that point, because if he's not close to 100% physically, he isn't going to do it, because there would be no way he'd win the gold, which obviously would be Kurt Angle's goal. So did that roll around in your mind with Brock? Was that lit the fire?
It lit a spark inside me, man. Brock was only a year out of competition. He was an NCAA champion. He's a phenomenal athlete, and I fared really well against him. And it made me think, you know what? I might still be able to go back. And seeing him, what he did to Big Show, manhandling him. I mean, he was picking him up and slamming him. Big Show was 530 pounds at this time. And it was impressive. And when I got in the ring with Brock, I handled him pretty good. I didn't annihilate him, but I handled him pretty good. And it built my confidence, made me think I could probably still go. So basically what we were going to do is WWE was going to pay me my downside for all of 2003 so I could train for the 2004 Olympics. The problem was I broke my neck at the beginning of 2003. So that ended that. There was nothing else I could do. It was over.
Yeah. Talk about Big Show a little bit. You mentioned, I read here what Dave had to say, but what do you remember about him and what he was doing, tussling around with you guys?
Well, Big Show's a strong son of a gun. He really is. He grabs you, and he can literally crush your head with one of his hands. He's a beast, but he didn't know how to wrestle, and Brock was just out techniquing him. And but the crazy thing is, he wasn't just out techniquing him. He was lifting him up in the air, like dead weight up in the air and slamming him on his back. And I was like, holy crap. I don't know if I want to get in the ring with Brock right now. It was that impressive.
When you say dead weight, again, guys, he's not jumping into it. It is Brock just lifting him like a trash bag. And this guy's 500 pounds. That's amazing. He is a bull.
Brock's a beast. There's nobody else like him. He's one of a kind.
Psst. Hey, go to geico.com. Pass it on. Was your body really up for all this at this time? What do you talk about getting this time off to train for it? Who do you talk to about this?
Well, I went to Vince and he agreed 100%. I told him I had a spark lit inside me and I wanted to try for the Olympics. And he said, that's great. We'll help you any way we can. But what was the first question? Oh, my health.
Yeah.
I didn't have any injuries up until then. The first injury I got was when I broke my neck at the beginning of 2003. If I wouldn't have broke my neck there, I probably would have tried out for the Olympics.
Let me bring this up too, because one thing I've learned, you and I have, as we've worked together for a while here, and one thing I've learned about you is you don't like to lose, whether it's shoot, whether it's
I'm very competitive.
kayfabe, it don't matter what it is.
Even with my wife.
I bet your kids are learning it. They're all everybody, Angle family. Nobody wants to lose.
Nobody beats me.
That's right. But you now are thinking about getting back into this. Is there any concern on your part about, hey, losing, and what if I do? Does it hurt my reputation? I mean, is that on your mind at all, or are you just driven?
No, listen, when you're a gold medalist, you're always a gold medalist. Doesn't matter how many times you go back and try. You win that gold medal, you're forever stamped in history as an Olympic gold medalist. So a lot of people try out again. They make the team. Sometimes they don't medal, but they're still Olympic gold medalists from the past. So, it doesn't really matter how many times you try. You do it once and you win it once. You're an Olympic gold medalist forever. You're
a made man at that point. Well, here's a little bit more from the Observer. Angle told Pittsburgh TV station WTAE on May 9th that he's planning on going back to amateur wrestling and train for the 2004 Olympics. The story made it sound like it was a final decision. Angle had been going back and forth on it for several months. According to Kurt, he would stay with WWE through the latter part of the year, and in December, devote himself to what would be about a year and a half of training for the Olympics. It is believed that the WWE would be paying him his downside guarantee, which I said before while he was training, even though Olympic training in many ways is physically harder than pro wrestling. He would at least train his ass off and be home, as opposed to the traveling associated with WWE. If he's really doing it, that's a huge blow, because you have Austin and Undertaker will be a year older and more banged up. Rock is probably going to be gone. Triple H isn't the same wrestler he once was. This is 2002, man. There's a lot left in Triple H, Dave.
Definitely, yeah.
Angle and Benoit are going to have to be more important, or the company is going to go through a rough period. So, Kurt, did the company voice this concern to you regarding availability, or did Vince think it'd just be amazing to have a top guy in the Olympics?
Vince was all for it. He wanted me to try for the Olympics. He wanted me to make the Olympic team and win a gold medal and represent the WWE. So as long as he was all for it, I was all for it.
And that downside guarantee, that was part of the deal. They were going to pay you that.
They were going to pay me my downside guarantee the whole year. I wouldn't have to wrestle at all.
Let me spell it out for you. It's GEICO.com. That's Geico.com. Well, Kurt, before we get to the next SmackDown, there's a massive change in the company. The WWF is now officially renamed WWE. How far in advance did you guys know about this change? And did you find it easy for this change? I can't imagine promos and things like this it's hard enough on these shows, WWF, WWE, you know what I mean? When the time period happened, I can imagine.
Well, Vince had a meeting and he told us he was going to change the name. Actually, he changed it to the WWFE before he changed it to WWE. So what he did was World Wrestling Federation Entertainment, and that's what he wanted. But for some reason, I don't know why he didn't let it stand. He changed it to WWE. When he told us, this all happened pretty quickly. So it was WWF, then it was WWFE, then it was WWE. And when you were doing promos, yeah, I flubbed a lot. I would say WWF because I was so used to saying it, it took me a while to get used to it.
Oh, I can only imagine. I think and even if you look back on the marketing materials for Judgment Day, what we're covering here today, a lot of stuff still had WWF branding on it. Yeah. And, so big time crossover change. Get the F out was the big marketing campaign. And
that's probably why they changed it from WWFE to WWE.
There
Get
you
the F out. Vince was hell bent on going WWFE. That's what he wanted.
Speaking of what should be an easier decision, that's got to be making the decision about Geico. Geico asks, how would you love a chance to save some money on insurance? Well, of course you would. After all, who doesn't love a great deal, right? And when it comes to great rates on insurance for all things in your life, Geico can help. Like with insurance for your car, your truck, your motorcycle, your boat, and even your RV. Even help with homeowners, your condo or renter's coverage. You can save even more with a special discount when you bundle your coverages. That's the best, the bundle. Plus, add the easy-to-use Geico mobile app, available 24-hour roadside assistance and more. And choosing to switch to Geico becomes an easy choice. Switch today and see all the ways you could save with great rates and discounts. It's easy. Simply go to geico.com to get a rate quote or contact your local agent and get started seeing how much you could save. Kurt, on the first WWE branded SmackDown, you're in the main event where you belong, and it's you and Jericho, and you have a no contest with Edge and the WWE Undisputed Champion Hulk Hogan. It's in Bridgeport, Connecticut, after Triple H laid out everyone with a sledgehammer. This was set up earlier in the night as Edge played some tricks on you again, and then you and Hogan got at it a bit in the ring, and we have the clip for you. I want to check it out. Nice. This is May 9th. 2002. Let's take a listen and check it out. Here we go.
Anyways, never mind. I just want to say brilliant move. Brilliant challenging Edge to a hair versus hair match at Judgment Day. Man, take it from me. Even as a kid, he had a fear of being ugly. And now with a bald head, he's going to be just that. Ugly.
Hey, and think about it. Now, between the two of you, he's going to be the ugly one.
I know. Hey, listen, never mind. I can't wait for Judgment Day. I can't wait. I want to see him ugly and bald now.
Whoa. Christian. Don't worry. I'm not going to wait till the pay-per-view to prove how ugly Edge is going to look bald. I'm going to do it tonight.
You are?
Just watch.
Okay.
Now, let's take a look at what Edge is going to look like after I'm through with him at Judgment Day. Mr. Clean lives. And ladies, he's single.
Look at all
Hey, this is fun. Hey, let's go back to the way Edge looks now. Okay, let's compare this. Okay. Everybody see? Okay, now let's go back, or actually let's go forward to the way Edge is going to look like after I kick his butt and shave his head at Judgment Day. Respond when you're a big, stupid, bald-headed freak.
Kurt's all wired up.
I'm through with this. You come out here right now and face me like a man. Let's go.
We're not going to have to wait till Judgment Day. It's going to be go time. Edge and Angle.
Kurt Angle is calling out. Wait a minute. This is an Edge.
Don't you know that bald people represent some of the greatest champions this industry's ever seen?
Really?
I'm talking about superstar Billy Graham.
Remember that? Yeah, that's right.
I'm talking about the rattlesnake, Stone Cold Steve Austin.
That's right.
Austin's bald.
And oh yeah, there's one other guy that fits that description. Take a good look at it, Angle. The way you're going, this is going to be you pretty soon, brother. And if Edge doesn't get you at Judgment Day, well, quite apparently, Mother Nature will.
That ain't right. Look at Hogan. He's like Mr. Morehead. He's got more head than hair.
The Hogan chants begin. Hulkamaniacs on their feet. Oh, yeah? Well, I hope The Undertaker kicks your butt real good. And just so you know, Hogan, if The Undertaker doesn't take that title from you, I will. And one more thing, Hogan. There's only one real American in this company. Me.
Gold medal. Angle.
You see, while you were saying your prayers and taking your vitamins, I was training to become the single most success story that modern day athletics has ever seen.
It's true.
So if you don't mind, why don't you just kiss my you-know-what?
And Hogan set it up. And right hands for the champion Angle. Angle with the claw. Big boot to the face, knocking Angle out of the ring.
Dude, how fun was that, man?
That was a lot of fun. Hogan nailed it that night. He was on that night.
Buddy, some of my most fun times of doing this show with you are just watching your face as you watch the clips back, because it's like you're watching it as a fan all over again.
I am.
Oh, it's
I'm
so
a Kurt
good.
Angle fan, a big one.
You're a big Kurt Angle fan. Do you remember putting this all together? And did you El Stiffo Hogan here? Do you remember that at all?
No. The only time I El Stiffoed Hogan was at a house show at Madison Square
That's
Garden.
right.
It was a 6-man tag.
Yeah, I
We
know.
talked about that, and that's
We
when he
did.
told Vince the Olympic boys a little El Stiffo. But I toned back. I pulled back, and I never stiffed Hulk Hogan again, because I knew that if I did, I'd have a bad reputation of being a stiffy guy, especially, Hogan was, he was up there in age, not that far in age. He was like 55, but, I didn't want to be too hard on him. So, I learned how to pull back a little bit and be less stiff with Hulk Hogan.
Yeah, the big boot wasn't making it to your face. He's at that age, but it still hit you in the stomach, so it still worked.
Hey, yeah, I think he's still trying to do it. I know he holds the rope now when he does it.
And then
he
raises
still
the
gets it done.
That's right. As long as that shoe can come up off the
That's
mat.
right.
Speaking of stiff, don't stiff your family when you pass on with Goliath Life. Time to tell you again about something I'm very passionate about, and that is protecting your family. Yes, this is a life insurance ad for GoliathLife.com, but to me, this is really about peace of mind. Think about insurance for a second. We all get medical and auto insurance, yet we never even know if we're going to have a need for it. Let me let you in on a little secret. You need life insurance. We're all going to die. Now, as you let that reality sink in, think about what would happen if your family stopped having your income tomorrow. If you don't have a plan for that, you need to visit GoliathLife.com, and I mean right now. Listen, I've lost 2 friends in their 40s in the last year and a half, and I don't even want to think about what their families would be going through had they not had life insurance. If you don't have it, get it. Protect your family. And I suggest you go to GoliathLife.com because they've made the process of getting affordable life insurance super easy. GoliathLife.com streamlines the life insurance process by allowing you to get quotes from more than 20 carriers within minutes, and then you'll pick your terms and payments to fit your budget. You pick your price, you start the online application immediately, and even schedule the medical exam to come to you. I've done it. They sent someone to my office. I skipped the phone calls, the paperwork, and the crazy invasive conversations. GoliathLife.com makes buying life insurance simple. There's no hidden fees, no upsells, no hassle, hell, not even a phone call. GoliathLife.com is life insurance in your hands, on your time. Get multiple quick quotes right now from the comfort of your own home and begin your application in a few easy clicks right now at GoliathLife.com. On all the SmackDown branded house shows over this period, Kurt, it's been you versus Edge in the main event most nights. Sometimes your guys are even doing cage matches. Working with each other every night must be such a big advantage to get everything down, timing, etc., to have these classic matches when we get to the pay-per-view, right?
Oh yes, you know, you start with, you know, you hope you have good chemistry with the person you're working with, but the more you work with them, the better chemistry it becomes. You know, you end up with better chemistry. But with Edge, you know, when you put a match together like this, especially a match like Edge and I did, where it was one of the best matches of the year, we were able to take some time at house shows and add spots to every house show that we did. So we would start with a basic match. We'd start adding on to it. And every match we would have, we'd add a little bit more. And by the end of it, at the pay-per-view, we'd have a great product ready for the fans, a great match, a nice 25, 30-minute match. And Edge and I worked really hard at it, and we perfected the match and made it 4 or 5 stars, I thought.
Well, you did, and so did Dave, and we're going to get there as we get closer to the match itself. By the way, you own your own? Go to Geico.com. Do you rent your own home? Go to Geico.com. Do you have a car? Go to Geico.com. You want to save some money? Go to Geico.com. So we're on the go-home SmackDown before Judgment Day. We're in Montreal, and in the main event this time, it's you and Jericho defeating Edge and Triple H when you pinned Edge with the angle slam after blocking a spear by using a steel chair to his head. Earlier in the night, too, you got a bit of revenge on Edge by cutting some of his hair, too. And yes, we have that one. Let's check it out.
Yeah, but then Evan the opportunist, Kurt Angle, as you see in a moment, Chris Jericho also coming in like a pack of wolves.
Yeah, pack of wolves are nothing but vultures taking advantage of another situation. And then Angle would deliver Edge's own move, a spear to Edge in the middle of the ring.
Now Kurt Angle just stuck Edge with that spear. And look at this, the hair.
Yeah, it was utter humiliation. Kurt Angle with a symbol of what could happen to Edge at Judgment Day.
Good luck.
Vince, did you see it? It was glorious. Did you see that? Did you see what we just did? I just cut Edge's hair. It was awesome.
You what?
I cut his hair off. You didn't see it?
How the hell did you cut his hair off?
You didn't see us beat the hell out of Triple H and Edge about 5 minutes ago? Vince? You didn't see that?
Awesome.
They destroyed him. You know what happened? Those two guys, their egos were too big. They
fighting.
They were fighting in the middle of the ring.
Fighting each other?
Like a couple 5-year-old kids.
And we jumped them.
Congratulations. The masters of manipulation that we are. We took advantage, Vince. We beat them down.
Like a team.
Yeah,
Well,
like a
tonight will be a night for fun. Yeah. And you guys, you have your fun as well. So why don't we make a tag team match here tonight? Okay. Why don't we see the two of you team up against Triple H and Edge?
All right.
Oh, we're going to kick the butts again. If they're not getting along, it's going to be your night. Have some fun, guys, and if you'll excuse me for a moment.
Okay. Greasy stuff and I've got tears too. Bye, Stacy.
An Angle strategy book.
They're just telling Angle to get up. He might be trying for the spear.
Steals hair, right off the skull of Edge.
Edge was just a little too aggressive, and it just bit him on the butt.
That steel chair tracking the skull of Edge and Kurt Angle.
Angle probably should have went for the cover there.
Kurt Angle looking to inflict more punishment. Oh yeah, slam.
This has got to be the end.
And here's the cover. There's two, and it's over. Kurt Angle beats Edge. And if that happens Sunday, Edge will be bald. Chris Jericho.
Well, there's no way in hell Edge was going to kick out of a chair shot to the head and the Angle slam.
Kurt Angle with that clump of Edge's hair. If Angle beats Edge Sunday.
There it is. So should we have known since you won that you were going to lose at the pay-per-view or what?
Obviously, that's the psychology.
That's how they always do it.
Well,
right?
they go over and over and over, and then have them lose at the pay-per-view.
So you got to tell me though, you snip some of Edge's hair. Is he talking to you beforehand? Like, hey buddy, don't take too much off.
Oh yeah, a lot. He didn't want me to cut anything from the front or anything shown in the back.
Yeah.
He wanted me to go underneath in the back and cut part of the hair out. And don't cut a lot, because if I do, it's going to mess his hair up. He's going to have to cut the rest of it. So he was very discreet about what he wanted me to do, and that's what I did. I didn't want to screw him over. He's one of my best friends, and I wouldn't do that to him. Although I wish that I would have shaved his head at the pay-per-view.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure. Well, listen, for those of you that are audio only, we had Kurt and Chris Jericho interrupting Vince, who is, I don't know how to even say it, head ducked down
on Stacy Keibler.
Stacy Keibler, that's right. He was having some fun with her. So that was going on there when they interrupted. And then you had Mike Chioda, my buddy, counting the 3 to that match. Kurt Angle wins. So like you said, you got to know this is not going to look good for Kurt Angle once we get to the pay-per-view. That makes the rib even better. That makes the rib even better because he still thinks he's gonna
I know, because he's losing all these times.
That's right.
He thinks he's gonna lose
again.
His head shape. I think he was probably thinking about quitting.
I'm sure. Well, here, listen, we have some unfortunate news that I wanted to bring up at this point. I know we're having a lot of fun here, but at this point in the history of wrestling, we had another death in the wrestling family to talk about. And it was just a little bit before we got to Judgment Day, 2 days before the show. Davey Boy Smith passes away. And I know you worked with him a little bit in your early WWF months. What are your memories of Davey Boy?
Oh, one of the all-time greats. What he did in the 1990s was incredible. He had so many great performances. But, when he came back to WWE in the early 2000s, he looked great, had a great attitude. He just didn't have the passion. I don't know what it was, but things were a little bit off with Davey Boy, and he wasn't able to get some traction and do what he did in the 1990s. And he didn't last very long in the WWE at that particular time.
Well, did you forget yet? Come on, it's Geico.com. Now we're here at the show, Kurt. May 19th, 2002. It's Judgment Day from Nashville, Tennessee. Yes, the same Nashville, Tennessee that StarCast 5 will be emanating from. All excited about that. This is the first, as I mentioned, WWE branded pay-per-view. The main event was Taker defeating Hogan for the undisputed title. It also featured Triple H defeating Chris Jericho in a Hell in a Cell match. Man, this is sounds like a pretty good card if folks want to go back and watch it.
Great card, yes.
But what we're going to hear to all talk about today is this big hair versus hair match. It's you and Edge. And I want to read.
Talk of the pay-per-view.
It really was. Here's a little clip from Meltzer before I get into it. He says, for the second month in a row, the highlight of the show was Kurt Angle versus Edge. Probably the best WWE match so far this year. So, man, this guy loves you. He continues to love you, Kurt Angle.
I'm actually shocked, to be honest with you.
Well, Dave Meltzer loves Kurt Angle. Let's go to the clip. Now, this is a little bit of a lengthy clip, but I cut it down so this goes to the end of the match. I always like to start it when you're taking your straps off and getting all serious and crazy. And then we're going right into the head. Yeah, the theatrical part. And we're going right into the head shaving. This is our last clip of the week. Let's check it out. Here we go, Kurt. We're bringing back all those memories.
Who refused to lose. Oh, look at this. The straps have come down. I hate when I see a grown man do that. Oh, there's him come on. I bet you hate that too, don't you, JR? Look at this. That's even worse. And, he hits a Guri. Caught Angle in the temple. Oh, no. Angle's got a distant look on his face. After that, here's the Guri caught him right in the temple. Distant look on his face. Oh, yeah. He played possum on the JR. You have no idea. Angle grabbed that landing. He cut the ankle out again. Tap out. Advance taps out. Tap out. It'll be Shea Ball. Tap it, tap it, tap it. He's tapping, he's ball. If he's ball, then Marty tap tonight. Oh, look out. Look at the roll-up. He cheated. No, he cheated. This can't be happening. Kurt Angle has lost to Edge. And Kurt Angle will soon be there's no rematch.
Yes, let's
it's
have
got 5 more minutes.
2 out of 3 falls.
This match is a 1-fall match.
No.
And Angles has lost.
It's a redo, do-over.
This ain't take 2.
Yeah, gotta be. Oh, look at this. Uh-oh. Wait a minute.
Here's the execution. Fighting out this onslaught by Angle. But Edge has won this match.
Oh, no, this is not right. This is the miscarriage of justice, JR.
Now by the rules of this match that both men agreed to.
Kurt, I got to ask, because he's dragging you back to the barbershop. Did you leave this slinglet in the dryer a little too long? This one's looking like a little snug on you here.
I see the crotch area.
Yeah, what is happening here? You're in
You have a sock in there.
I don't know if that's like size medium here in your slinglet. All right, here we go. You're going to the barber.
It is a tight singlet. You're right.
It was just painfully obvious. All right, here we go. Let's check this out.
Yeah, get him away. There you go.
Look at Angle. What the Angle?
Get your ass. That's how you get up to the staging area.
We're going to cut somebody's hair. Oh, yeah. Oh, we're going to cut somebody's hair.
Oh, that ain't right.
Where's
What?
the microphone? Sure. Give me the microphone.
Give him a microphone.
What do you need a microphone for?
You people want to see a haircut?
Oh,
Yes,
damn.
yes.
I'll show you a freaking haircut.
We want to see it.
Barber, get your ass out here.
Get out of here, Floyd.
Floyd.
And this is just absolutely hideous. Angle loses the match fair and square to Edge earlier. Angle's supposed to get his head shaved bald. And it looks to me, man, that Edge is the one that's going to get his head shaved here.
All right, Barber, give it this. Or worse. Doesn't matter.
Look at Edge fighting everything he's got. I wish somebody could come out here and restore a little bit of order here.
This is Olympic justice.
Wait. Edge has got the sleeper. No, wait a minute. Sleeper on Angle. Sleeper on Angle.
I wish somebody come out here and get a hold of Edge's hair and pull him up.
Oh, Kurt, nighty night.
Look at him choking Kurt out with it.
Sweet dreams. Look at Angle's look on his face.
He's getting no oxygen to his brain, JR. Fight, Kurt. Fight.
Angle the one last chance to fight. A fight out of it, but
I can't remember the last time I actually saw somebody put to sleep with a sleeper hold. Come on, Kurt.
Kurt won. Oh, Kurt's nighty night.
Revive him. What are you doing?
And Edge has got those shears.
He's not a barber. No, wait.
Okay, a little bit. Oh, my.
What? I can't see anything.
Well, look over here.
Hey, wait a minute now.
Angel singing goodbye to Kurt.
Oh, no.
Oh, goodness gracious. That's
Wake up, please.
you won an Olympic game. A few years later, you get your head shaved.
This is awful. This is humiliating.
This is hideous. Kurt Angle, when he awakes from this fate, that some would perceive as
What's wrong with these Nashvillians? They're actually singing goodbye to Kurt's hair. Look at Floyd, the barber. He needs to have his barber license revoked. Look, now it's taking 2 of them. Oh, Kurt.
it's not real stylish, but it's certainly effective. Kurt Angle looks like he just got inducted into the military.
Not funny, JR. This is terrible. Now what's it?
Edge is going to do this thing up right.
He's got Edge. Shaving. Oh, come on.
That air conditioner, folks.
Hey, wait a minute. He don't know how to use that, I'm sure. Ah!
Wow.
What is he doing?
That's a straight
He's
razor.
taking ear off there.
Darn right.
Now what?
That's not moose either.
You don't need boots anymore.
I don't think so.
Son of a bitch.
Kurt Angle's head has been shaved bald.
Of everyone chanting, "You suck." Well, from now on, they're going to chant, "You're bald." Hit the music.
Please, I'm begging you, Nashville, don't do it. Don't say it. imagine. I think he's going to cry. Look, ladies and gentlemen, the rare Olympic bald eagle.
The Olympic bald eagle. Kurt, talk about that experience. He couldn't cut hair to save his life, Edge.
Hell no. What happened was he had the clippers on the wrong way. You're supposed to have the flat side run against your head, and he had them flipped over. So as he was doing it, it was pulling the hair out of my head, out of my scalp. I'm surprised I wasn't bleeding.
Yeah.
It was painful as hell. I was like, Edge, what the fuck are you doing? Switch the clippers around. Eventually, the barber told him what to do, and then he started doing it right. But it was like, holy shit, man. It was painful.
Well, you could tell, you could see the barber trying to tell him, hey, go this direction. You saw that in the video. But that also explains how the rib of not telling Edge till the last minute probably hurt that whole segment because nobody trained him. Yeah, it hurt you because nobody really kind of went over, this is how you want to shave him bald, dude.
Right. So I wasn't completely bald. And, that straight razor wasn't even real. So it was just like a prop that they used. So he wasn't really shaving my head. If he would have, he probably would have cut my head off.
Yeah, thank God they didn't give him the straight razor. They were just giving the clippers. Yeah. And it's funny. He's like using the old Brutus the Barber beefcake sleeper hold to put you to sleep. And Lawler's like,
hey,
I haven't seen that move.
It's the only thing we could come up with that would knock me out for a minute. So that's what we did.
Lawler's like, I haven't seen that move put somebody to sleep in like 15 years or something. That was so good. Oh, so true. So Meltzer says Edge pinned Angle. We saw that in the hair versus hair match. It was a 15-minute and 30-second match. But he just went on and raved about you. Angle did a sick-looking German suplex, grabbed the chair, but before he could use it, Edge had speared you. Went for a second spear, but Angle kicked a field goal with him. Gave Edge a hard spear for a good near fall. You hit a couple more German suplexes, and we'll get into the end of the match. They did a skit later in the show where Edge was finally chasing him. We saw that in the video. Angle was hiding to avoid the haircut. Finally, before the main event. So this was all spread out. We spliced the clips together. Angle got the advantage and brought Edge out and threw him off the ramp into a makeshift barber shop, which we saw. Edge came back out, put Angle out again with the old sleeper, shaved his head, and Angle was revived. He saw himself. Dave gives it all 4.5 stars because Kurt Angle is involved. So there you go.
That's the only reason.
But listen, man, you guys, and you're tearing it down. You're really putting it over Edge here, which is awesome. You're making him a top star. We've heard stories of road agents going to wrestlers when they're losing to make sure they know their role in their match is to do that. Does anyone have to come to you and say, hey, this is the match that we're going to make Edge in? Or is it just known at this point and you're going to do whatever you can to really help elevate him?
Oh, I knew I had to do whatever I could to elevate him. I mean, Edge was doing it himself. I just happened to be in the right place at the right time and the right opponent, because Edge wouldn't have had that type of match with just anybody. I mean, I have to give myself a little bit of credit for it, but pat myself on the back. But Edge was incredible to work with, and I didn't have any doubts in my mind that he would be made after this pay-per-view.
Just another wrestler, Kurt, as we've gone through these shows that you had great chemistry with. We've talked AJ, we've talked Benoit, we've talked Eddie Guerrero, we've talked Jericho. Here's just another one that you had just so much great working chemistry with, man.
Yeah.
Hey, did you go to Geico yet? Get a quick quote and see how much you can save for free at geico.com. So you got to be happy with how this whole thing played out, right?
Oh, yeah. I thought the match was awesome. I thought it was a little shorter than I expected it to be. I wanted the match we obviously couldn't do it because we were, that we had time issues where we couldn't go over. But I would have loved if it was 20 minutes and not 15.
So once your head shaved, are you committed at that point? I'm staying bald. I'm not going to grow it back at all. This is my new look.
That was the whole idea. That's what Vince wanted. And you know what? Not only did they get Edge, not only was a star born that night with Edge, but the wrestling machine became reality because Kurt Angle bald turned into the wrestling machine. So that's what Vince wanted. He wanted me to be taken more seriously. That's why he had my head shaved, and he wanted me to turn into the wrestling machine. That was the next character that I did.
Out with Leave It to Beaver and in with the wrestling machine. I love it. So were there any ideas thrown around at the time? Hey, let's bring in good old Brutus the Barber Beefcake and have him cut your hair, or I mean, Hogan's in the company.
Great idea, because I wrestled Hogan the next pay-per-view. And to bring Brutus the Barber Beefcake in, his best friend, would have been perfect.
Yeah.
It actually would have been better suited with Hogan. But, I did have a great match with Edge, and he was made that night, and he was forever main event status after that point.
He at least would have known how to cut your hair, though, okay?
Yes, he would have. You're absolutely right.
And we wouldn't have been in so much pain. Listen, whether you own or rent, Geico makes it easy to bundle your home and car insurance. Go to geico.com today. Kurt, let's get to the fan questions because we got a few on this one. Instagram, a wrestling historian, says, how did it feel to be bald initially, and how long did it take you to adjust to it?
Well, it was hard. At first when I shaved my head, as a pro wrestler, you go tanning. So, Paul just took his hat off. As a pro wrestler, you go tanning. And the thing is, when you have hair on your head, that doesn't get tan. So when you shave your head's completely white, and the rest of your body and your face are tan. I looked fucking ridiculous for about 2 weeks. I had to tan my head to catch up to my body and my face. It was so funny, but I didn't have a choice.
You know what? It's funny though, because as a fellow follically challenged male, you once you go bald and are art for a while, then it looks weird if you have the hair back. It's like people.
I can't imagine my hair growing back.
Yeah,
I don't think I'd want it.
My wife's like, no way, don't you ever. Not that I have an option, but it would be that weird, the old man style horseshoe.
Right.
Definitely not doing that. All right, Richie's up next. How did people backstage react to your bald look? Did they like it, or did they rib you about it after the match?
They ribbed me for a little bit. It wasn't a big deal. I was expecting it. Bald angle and bald eagle, bald angle. They would call me that stuff, but they ribbed me for about a week, and that was it. They forgot. They moved on to something else.
Yeah.
I became boring to them.
Right. James Greenberg's up next, and we were just talking about this a little bit. He said, Kurt, did Edge cut you with the razor by accident during the haircut? So did you have any nicks or cuts that you remember?
Okay, with the clippers, yeah, I had a couple of nicks and cuts. I'm surprised it didn't bleed on TV, because there were a few cuts in my head when I went backstage. The razor wasn't a real razor, so I didn't have to worry about that. So, but the clippers, the way he was doing it the opposite way, was really affecting my head. It was very painful.
Slovakia 99, it's all about your haircut. I love it. Were you pissed at Edge because he did not understand at the time how to shave your hair?
Well, that wasn't his fault. We should have had a rehearsal, which we couldn't do because Vince wanted to prank Edge and let him know that he was going to have his head shaved instead of me. So we didn't have time to practice it. But if we would have practiced it, Edge would have knew what to do.
Hey, if you didn't go to Geico yet, then you must not like to save money. I mean, come on. Last time, go to geico.com and be eternally grateful that you did. Lindsay Lopez asked, did anyone tell you that his trunks look like Alvin from Alvin and the Chipmunks? I love that she brought up your trunks.
You know what? I didn't even notice that. I'm going to have to go back and look at this.
You said bulge, and here come the questions. I love it. I love it.
Great question.
Oh, man, this is awesome. Great question, Lindsay. Thank you for also noticing the trunks this episode. Fernando Diaz asked, did Kurt get a bonus for getting his head shaved bald? That's a good question. Did they bonus you?
You know what? I should have asked for that.
Yes.
I didn't even think about it, but I should have asked for $1 million to get my head shaved.
$1 million.
Of course, Vince would have told me to shove it.
Listen, JR back then, for for instance, Kyoto got a little bonus for taking a chair shot in matches back then, stuff like that. I would think you could get a couple of extra grand for getting your head shaved. I mean, come on. You should have tried.
I would want more than that, to be honest with you.
Maybe we can go
If I was going in there to ask for money, it's not going to be a couple grand. It's going to be
that's like a 50,
tip, 100, 200. I'm a little,
I got you.
Stingy.
I got you. Yambag Jones says, what kind of ribbing went on with Team Wreck after Kurt was finally shaved bald?
This is great. Team Wreck became Team Wreck Bick, and it's Rhino, Edge, Christian, and Bald Kurt. Team Wreck Bick. That's what they started calling.
That's good. That's good. Good question, Yambag. Love it. Zoe Lopez, our buddy, says some have shared stories of ribs being used in hair versus hair matches, such as dog clippers being used, which can make head shaving unpleasant. Did you have any fear being ribbed while being shaved?
Well, I did get ripped
Yeah,
because
that's a
Edge
total
didn't know what he was doing.
Clueless.
But no, there wasn't any fear in my mind. Edge and I were really tight. We were best friends. You know, me, Edge, and Christian and Rhino, we were like inseparable. So we weren't going to screw each other over, try to play ribs on each other, especially with a match this serious. As funny as it was still serious because we had to get Edge over, and we accomplished that.
Oh, fellow bald friend of ours, Brad Stanton asks, and I know why you're asking this question, Brad, because I have heard your experience. Did you ever look into Rogaine or the Hair Club for men?
I did it. I tried it. Didn't work.
Did you really? You did?
Yeah. I used Rogaine for, a year or two at least.
Remember that spray
I was
shit?
holding on to everything I had.
Do you remember on TV they sold, as seen on TV, it was like this spray stuff where you could
The hair
spray
stuff, where it fills in the bald spot.
My dad tried that, and like he was called out like 2 hours later when someone's like, "Did you spray stuff on your hair?" He was so embarrassed he never tried it again.
You know what? It can, if you're at a distance, it works, but close up, especially if you're looking above the person at their head, it doesn't work. You're absolutely right. Yeah.
2 more questions. Michael McClanahan asks, was there any adjustment to learning how to sell and work as a bald performer compared to a worker with a full head of hair?
Well, if I had long hair, it would be a hard adjustment, but I had short hair. I was almost bald to begin with. My hair was so short. So I didn't have to make any adjustments, but that's a good question.
It is, because if you think about it, the long hair performer probably has an advantage as far as communicating.
Oh, yeah. And also they have to make sure when they're selling, they got to throw their hair away from their face to show their face when they're selling. So there are a lot of issues with the long hair that you have to work with.
Good point. And our buddy Rajiv, final question. Do you and I have the same barber? Mine is Gillette.
So is mine, believe it or not. It's been Gillette for about 15 years.
Yep. Rajiv,
almost 20, actually.
You're in luck. And I love hearing from all the Follically Challenge guys here today. This has been fun. Kurt, next week we'll be discussing none other than John Cena, your buddy.
Nice.
The face that runs the place.
Greatest WWE superstar of all time.
That's right. He made his debut against you, and we're going to talk about the rise of Cena in the WWE, your big-time matches with each other. We're going to talk about what we thought of John. Did John change the game? And then the opportunity for John to induct you into the Hall of Fame. So all that to come. I can't wait to record that one. That's going to be a lot of fun. But until we meet again, before we get there, we have some things to talk about. First of all, physicallyfit.com. And this week is a little bit different because there is now a world title belt from Wildcat Belts that these folks can earn. So talk about chicken snacks, and we'll talk about the title belt too.
We got a world title from Physically Fit Nutrition. It's a competition, a contest. Go on to physicallyfit.com, sign up on the link, the contest link, and become a participant. If you win, you're going to do a video, 5 to 30 seconds, of why you absolutely love our chicken snacks or Snack Smart Crispy Protein Bites. And if you win, you get the world championship. It's a $3,500 value.
Wow.
So, and also there are 10 other winners, runner-up winners, that will get $500 worth of chicken snacks and Snack Smart Crispy Protein Bites. Go to the website, physicallyfit.com, to order your chicken snacks and your Snack Smarts, and also to sign up for the contest.
Wow, Kurt, you can see the pictures of what the belt looks like there as well when you go to physicallyfit.com. Again, made by wildcatbelts.com. First class belt maker. Andrew is fantastic. The video you do will be shown in the future. So get into character, have fun
on the Kurt Angle Show.
Yeah. That's right. Here on the Kurt Angle Show, we're going to show it. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Also, check out KurtAngleBrand.com. Kurt, they can find all kinds of fun stuff with you. Milk cartons, cowboy hats, cameo videos. Tell them about it.
Yeah, we got photographs, we got birthday cards, cowboy hats, milk cartons, t-shirts, cameo video messages. Go to KurtAngleBrand.com and order whatever you want, and I will send it to you right away.
Kurt, I don't know if you heard, but wildcatbelts.com,
Sold another title.
another belt sold, a championship belt. I keep saying belt. I'd be in trouble in WWE. 2 left.
Title. Oh,
2 title belts left. That's it. So you have only 2 chances to own one of these prestigious Kurt Angle American Hero Championship belts. Beautiful belt. Kurt's showing his if you're able to watch the video now. If you aren't, check it out, wildcatbelts.com. You can search for the American Hero Championship belt. And then there were 2, Kurt. So make sure you check it out. And finally this week, Saturday, August 27th, it's wrestling night at the park for the Wisconsin Timber Rattlers with your Olympic hero, Kurt Angle.
right.
We're doing a podcast there. You can watch it live in the Fox Club. I will be there hosting along with Kurt. You can get
And
some
I'm hoping to throw the first pitch of the game.
He's going to throw the first pitch. And pregame podcast packages are available now. Appleton, Wisconsin, right outside of Green Bay. If Kurt's in the house, I'm in the house. We're going to have a good freaking time. And so make sure you check it out. And by the way, if you're not signed up over at Ad Free Shows, get signed up. You can do so this month and being part of Top Guy Weekend. Kurt will be there too. So
Labor
much
Day
cool
weekend.
stuff. So much cool stuff going on this year. Kurt, thank you so much. This has been an awesome trip down memory lane 20 years ago when you became bald.
It was a lot of fun. I loved it. Down memory lane. Awesome. Great show today.
Good stuff. Well, listen, on behalf of Kurt Angle, this is Paul Bromwell. We will see you right back here again next week on The Kurt Angle Show.